everyone, it's Erin here from the Memory Box Project. Welcome to our second mini reminiscence video that we're making. So I think this week just gone you've had a presentation from Kate, and today you get me. So I'm not sure how this is going to go. I'm going to do the session with just hands so there's less distraction, and hopefully my four-legged friends don't do any barking, and if they do I apologise. So let's get started. So today's mini reminiscence video is all about cookery, and I've got a few items here that Heather kindly brought to me. Where's a friend here? Brought to me from the office before we went on lockdown. So I've got plenty of things in storage so that we can do these over the coming weeks. And she's got some really cool things today, so let's go through what we have here. So usually in a session, I will start with the ration book. So this is the real ration book, and the date on this one is 1953. So this one's actually from after the war. So can anybody remember using a ration book? Or if you were quite young, your mum using ration books? So insofar as I understand it, you'd have a ration book each. So if you had a big family, your mother would be responsible for everybody's ration books and have to take those when she went shopping. So inside the ration book, you've got your details on the front, the details of your local grocers that you would use for your essential items that are on ration, such as cheese and bacon, and then everything has coupons which are cut out. And I think some of them in this book have actually been partially used. So that's quite interesting. So you've got tea, and what other examples do we have in here? Personal points for sweets. That's one that comes up a lot in conversation. So how much would you get on rationing for each food item per week? Can anyone remember? Because I'm just looking at my cheat sheet here. Two ounces of butter, 2 ounces of cheese, 3 pints of milk, 8 ounces of sugar. Going down the list, 2 ounces of tea. And tea would have been loose tea, so you would have needed to use a tea strainer, or a teapot and a tea strainer. And did anybody reuse the tea leaves? Because I've heard that one quite often as well. And eggs, 1 egg a week. 1 egg a week, unless that is, you had your own chickens. This isn't a real egg. I can't be trusted with real eggs because I'd break it. But did anybody keep chickens at home or in an allotment? Or did anybody keep rabbits to eat? I've met a few people who had rabbits, and we all know what has to happen when we have to have a rabbit. They are very, very cute. I've known a few people who've been in charge of dispatching the unfortunate rabbit on the day. We have here a identity card, which was used throughout wartime, and everybody would have had one of these. Do you still have your identity card? What way round do we look in this one? Do you still have your identity card? Do you still have your ration book? When you did your shopping and you took it home, what was in your kitchen? Did you have a fridge or fridge freezer? If you didn't, where might you have kept your goods? I have a book here, which I love. It's a little bit old and it's falling apart on the spine, so I do apologise, but it has been to quite a few sessions. It's called the Housewives book, and this is from 1950, and it's got loads of advice as to how to run a household. And I've just found one of the chapters here to do with the larder, so how not to organise your larder and your cupboards, and how to organise the perfect larder. So having room for all your tins, and then a cold space for your meat. Did anybody have a meat safe or somewhere cold, like a cool slab of marble or something to put your meats on? It's another close up there of the larder. Did your larder look like that? What did you have in your kitchen? Another interesting one is the milk. This is a milk bottle. It's not super old. It's from about 1980s, 1981. But it reminds me of milk deliveries. Who had their milk delivered? Did your milkman come on a electric van? Or did he have a horse and cart? Lots of people remember their milkman riding on a horse and cart. And some remember not using bottles, but him using the jug with a ladle, and you would bring out your own receptacle, such as a glass or a jar, and he would fill that up with milk for you. So you wouldn't necessarily use bottles. But if you did use bottles, your milkman would take your old bottles back and leave your new ones on the step, often with a foil or cardboard lid. And sometimes the birds would come and peck the cream off the top, which would be a bit of a nuisance. Did anybody experience that where they lived? When anyone was a child, would they ever try and hitch a ride on the back of the milkman's cart? I hear that one quite a lot. Depending on how grumpy your milkman was, how much you got away with it. Something else that you'd use milk to create. Blancmange. So blancmange is a milky jelly. But lots of people like blancmange and lots of people don't. So blancmange. Did you ever get given blancmange? Did you like it or not? Lots of desserts to think about. You might have made it in one of these. Glass jelly mould. It's quite heavy. Have you got one of these at home? Or you might have a brass one. Lots of different shapes available. Did anybody have one of these that was shaped like a rabbit? Lots of people had the rabbit shaped one. It's very cold. Sort of jelly mould. So you set your jelly upside down, pop your plate on, turn it, and off comes the jelly. I should have made some really to demonstrate, but this powder's quite old, so I won't. Can anybody tell me what this item is? It's really heavy. Got a clamp at the bottom. I think it goes this way around. What is this for? We've put a bit of plastic over the top so that nobody sticks their finger in it, but this part would have been open. So if anyone says this is a mincer, then you're right. So you would clamp it onto the side of the kitchen table, turn the handle, put your meat or, well, vegetables or anything else that you want to mince using the right opening, and your food would come out here. And you can take it apart to clean it, which is good. Did anybody have a mincer in their kitchen? Has anybody still got a mincer in their kitchen? It's probably quite a useful piece of equipment. What other things might we have had in the kitchen? Was anybody lucky enough to have a Kenwood chef when they came out? Which I know were quite expensive. What other mod cons did we have over the years? When did you get a microwave? I love this little booklet here, which is about wartime cookery. And the reason why I love it is because this is a replica of what you may have received in 1940. And it's really showing you how to make the most out of the food that you have. And the bottom of this page, which I usually read out in sessions, it has introduced into the menu as often as possible the following foods. So for meat, we have tripe, cow heel, oxtail, liver, kidney, hearts, tongues, rabbits, calves and sheep's heads, and fresh bones. So these are all things that you may have been given or tried during wartime to try and make the most of what was available. To make sure you had enough protein in your diet. And it's got lots of recipes. Let's look at some examples. Spiced beef, meat and macaroni pie, curried mutton, tripe and liver hot pot. Who's tried tripe? And how would you cook it? Would you ever cook it with milk and onions? I only know I only know two little people that like tripe. These two doggies, they like tripe. In this leaflet here, which is a replica, lots of ideas for cooking. You might recognise some of the brands in here. Scott's porridge oats. Who likes to have porridge for their breakfast? And what do you like with your porridge? I like honey on mine. You can have jam, nuts, bananas, all sorts of things. Shredded wheat. I definitely recognise this one. Hovis is the slice of life. So bread. Does anybody make their own bread as opposed to buying it? Do you use a bread maker or do you make it from scratch? I'd love to hear about anybody who makes their own bread because I've never done it and I don't know how. So there's nothing better than the smell of bread. So this one is describing all the different types of foods, the food groups you should be eating. So fats and carbohydrates. So you've got your butter, honey, cheese, lard, stork butter for making cakes. I've used that one. Proteins such as chicken and fish and meat. And then vitamins and minerals, so your fruit and veg. Lots of fresh fruit and veg there for growing. We've done a blog post this week, which will be released Wednesday the 25th of March, all to do with little projects you can do to grow your own flowers and vegetables and things. So have a look at that if you're interested. That just inspired me there, I just remembered, which is brilliant. So let us know any memories that you've thought of today when we talked about cooking. We'd love to hear your comments. This was a first try at making this video, so I do apologise if it's not perfect, but I will definitely listen to any ideas anybody has. And I hope you enjoyed it. So I will see you soon. Bye!